One of the hardest parts in the game of Snake is figuring out how to get your snake to move. Now, the solution to this that students usually think of first is actually really hard to program. So usually what students think of is, oh, I need to move the head of my snake right here. And by the way, you should keep your snake in a list. This is actually going to be a list of rectangles. I'm just putting the numbers there to correspond to the numbers on the dice right here. So usually you think to yourself, oh, I need to move the head. So I'm going to remember what the location of the head is and then move it. And now I know, since I remember that location in some variable, I'll know where the next piece needs to move to. But then you need to remember the current location of that next piece before you move it. Okay, so then you move it. So now you remember where the next piece should move into, but you got to remember its current location and move it so that these can hook around the corner. Because if you don't do that, if you just move them all in the same direction, right, they're all going to shift just down, and that's not what you want, right? You want the snake to move and hook around the corner, and this piece will move down, and it'll keep moving around the corner like that. All right, but that actually involves a whole bunch of variables, keeping track of like where each piece of the snake used to be. You have to loop through your entire snake every single time. That's actually quite difficult. So I'm going to show you an easier way to do this. All right, so we've still got our snake list right here. And again, I'm writing down numbers just to show you like which of the die I'm corresponding to, which dice. These are actually going to be rectangles, Pygame rectangles, to draw the pieces of the snake on the screen. So we're still moving our snake in the same direction, and we want the head to show up right here, and basically the tail is going to move into this position. But we can do a trick where it looks like that's what's happening, but that's not what's happening inside the list. Imagine if we delete the tail, so we remove this, and we insert a new head of the snake right here in the list and at the location that we're going to move into, right here. Well, visually, this does the exact same thing, other than me changing the color of the snake. If you'd inserted the same color rectangle, visually this would look exactly like if the snake had moved into this position. The next move, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to delete the next item out of the list, and we'll insert another value at the front, another rectangle, in this next location. And hopefully you can picture how the snake is moving. Now suppose the snake turns to the left. Well, we're going to delete that item, the last item out of the list, and we're going to insert a new piece of the snake in the direction that we're moving. So what kind of code do you need in order to do this? Well, first you're going to need delete. Now delete's a weird function. It's just del, and there's no parentheses or anything, and then the name of whatever your list is. So suppose my list is named snake. So we're going to delete snake and then the index that we want to delete. This index needs to be the last item in the list, and I want you to either figure out, remember, or look up how to index the last item in the list. Okay, so once you delete that last item, now we need to insert a new value at the start. Now you're probably familiar with append, and append is what we frequently use to add items to a list. So whatever we want to add, we put in the parentheses. But append adds to the end of the list, and we need to insert at the start of the list. Well, you may have noticed I keep using the word insert. So snake.insert lets us put a value anywhere we want in the list. So we'll create a new rectangle. That's what we're going to put into the list. That's the first argument to insert, comma, the index where we want to put it. Well, we always want to put it at the start of the list, and that's index 0. So this right here, this is your new snake piece. That's going to be your new head. Be aware that you need to set its location to the space that your snake is about to move into, and then you can insert it into the list like this, at location 0. So, this isn't actually part of it. I was just writing that as an example. These two commands are all you need to make it look like your snake is moving. Now, you have to be careful again about where you create that snake piece, but that's it. It's super simple, and I hope that helps you in creating snake.